My name is Kirby Ash, and I think I'm sharing this on my YouTube channel that is for step parenting. I have a Kingdom Stepmommas playlist, and so I'm not sure if you guys have seen that or if you have even looked at some of those videos. This is going to tie into that pretty tremendously, but I also think it's just for anyone. So I'm just going to dive right in. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to title this yet, but I think the premise of it is how I feel like becoming a step parent, becoming a stepmom, has shown me and taught me more about Jesus than anything else. Now, a lot of you parents out there are going to go, well, yeah, you become a parent, you learn a lot about God, right? You learn a lot about um, our Father in heaven and parenting and how sometimes not getting what you want is actually the best thing for you. And of course, it opens up this whole new, I guess, viewpoint of God that maybe you weren't capable of seeing until you were a parent. So there's absolutely just parenting things I'm going to talk about, but I do feel like there's a little extra thing that personally God has used with me from a different perspective of being the step parent, of not knowing this child from day one, from not carrying him, in my own tummy, and you know, there's just a little bit of a difference there, and I just want to share. I just want to share what I really think God has just shown me through it and taught me through it, and I'm sure there's going to be so much more. So here we go. So obviously, when you become a parent, it's like your whole world changes. I mean, absolutely changes. Now, I don't have any biological children yet. Yet, we're praying. Um, but Jackson is my child. That is my beautiful stepson. I am a stepmom, but I am full-time mom to him. And so that's the perspective that I'm going to be speaking about. And when we first got him, it changed everything. The first day I met him, it changed everything. Now, I do feel the need to share that the first time Jackson and I met, we were instantly connected. We just instantly got along. He was younger, but not too young. It wasn't like we had him since he was a year old or 2 years old. The first time I met him, he was 5. And we just had so much fun together. So much fun. And then you fast forward in a little bit, and the little things that I saw as red flags early on became too big to ignore. And sure, I have shared in another video, or I will share in another video, that entire story of our custody battle and testimony, because it truly is a testimony with Jackson. So when we got him full time, is when it really, the connection became clear to me that it was more than just we had fun together, that this was a God connection, that this was spiritually set up. And I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that some things are divine. Some things, God obviously planned out and could see before I had any clue, that this was going to be my life. But there's still a choice in that. And especially as a step parent, you are given a choice. You are given an opportunity to connect with a child or not. Now, I'm not saying that every single relationship would be as, it wasn't easy by any means, but the connection that we had that was instantly there, it's not always the case. I know that. I know that we are absolutely blessed. But every case has an option. Every stepchild, every child has they come with this package of, you get to choose me, and then in turn I'll choose you. And that's kind of where I want to start this relationship, and how God has just blown my mind through it, is that obviously we know God chose us first, right? We know that. We know He chose us first. We know that when we were created, He knew us before the world ever even thought about us, right? Much like He knew what was going to happen when I married James, that I was going to end up with Jackson. He knew all that before I even thought of a James, before I even knew James existed. But we know He chooses us. We know He pursues us first. And this is one way that being a stepmom has given me a unique perspective of what that might be like. Again, these are all my own thoughts, my own heart feels, my own walking this thing out with the Lord. So this is my journey, okay? But it might help some people, it might encourage some people, and why not share? So when you become a parent, obviously you still have a choice involved. But when you're presented with, I could be in this relationship, which would mean I would be a step parent. There are obviously different situations involving that. There's blended families, there's every other weekend families, there's week on, week off. There are families that are in different states, and it might be summertime. So the description changes as far as what a step parent is going to be. And those are the things that are brought into consideration when you're looking at this relationship. When I first said yes to James, it was, okay, yeah, I would be a stepmom, but he has a mama. He has a mama. And I didn't know at the time that it was going to be actually, I have this choice to make of being full-time mom to this precious child. Now, there was no question in my mind that I would do that. But I think for some people, when they first think about being a step-parent, they don't take into consideration that circumstances might change, and you might have a little bit more of the child, or you might have a little bit less, and what it can do to your heartstrings. So God chose us first, and the way that ties in here is that I was blessed with this child, and I was blessed with this connection I have with him. But step one was I had to choose him. And I have hesitated sharing this part for so long because sometimes I'm worried that it's going to come across like I want some trophy or some pat on the back, and that's not it at all. I am probably the one blessed more than anyone else by this relationship of getting Jackson because I wouldn't have known him before. But I have to acknowledge that there is a choice. There is this choice of, will I choose him? Guys, the reality is that James and I could have gotten married, and I see this all too often, and it breaks my heart. We could have gotten married, and I could have known that, you know what, yeah, I'll be a stepmom, and then really the relationship doesn't matter. Or really it's like just kind of viewed as a temporary thing. Or it's just, that's his child. It breaks my heart when I see that, and I'm not trying to say that out of judgment, but it breaks my heart for the child because we're not putting ourselves in their shoes to think how difficult and strange and bizarre it may be that now there's three people in their life, in this little child's life, that might be trying to parent or might not be trying to parent, and maybe they care, maybe they don't care. I think it's worse to be in an environment when you're around people that you know have to be around you, but maybe don't really care, and you can feel that. So the choice is so important, and I got to choose Jackson. I got to look at him, and I got to see who he was and see this beautiful child that was developing, and I got to know him. But it all started with me choosing him first. Now, God chose the whole thing first, obviously. God knew what I was going to choose. He knew what James was going to choose. He knew the whole story. He knows down the road what's going to happen. But I got the opportunity to choose Jackson. And I got to see, in a way, man, how incredible is it that that's what God does for us? That we may not know him at all. We may have no idea that he exists. Or we do know he exists and we don't want to be a part of it. Right? I know you have to be in my life, but I don't really want a relationship with you. And yet he still chooses us first. I just think it's incredible. I didn't know when I said yes to James and I said yes to Jackson that this is what our life was going to look like. I didn't know that we were going to have him full time. I didn't know that my heart would just feel like his mom. I didn't know those things. But at the time, I took the risk and thought, you know what? This may be some weeks fun. This may be some weeks hard. This may be the majority of the time he could care less about me. But here's a child that I have an opportunity to say yes to, and I'm going to do it. Because every child needs to be chosen. Every child needs to have someone in their life choosing them and saying yes to them. And so I did, and now looking back, I realized how crucial that was for what was going to happen and what was going to come. So I'm blown away sometimes. I have to remind myself that God chooses us before we can ever choose him. That once he has chosen us and created us, that then we have this opportunity to see him and choose him back. And he's always pursuing us. I'm always pursuing deeper relationship with my stepson because I don't feel like his stepmom anymore. In a lot of ways, I don't think that I feel like his stepmom to him anymore. But that's taken work. That's taken constant pursuit. And that's the next thing that I really, hands down, get so blown away by when I think about my relationship with my stepson and how it reflects God's relationship with me. This may be a normal parenting thing, but honestly, sometimes I feel like when you're a parent, and you start a family, you have your biological children, that obviously, yes, you're choosing them, but this decision to choose them every single day, it's just second nature. You don't even think about it. It just happens. I wish I could say that was the same when it comes to step parenting, or I'm sure with adopted family members. But I honestly don't think it is. I think it's a muscle we have to train, and I do think God gives us the heart for it. My heart was there. The connection was there. But guys, I'm going to be honest. I had to choose to pursue Jackson every day. I still do. I still have to pursue his trust more than what a biological mom would. I still have to pursue to get to know the depths of him so that he feels like he can get to know the depths of me. I have to pursue this relationship with him every day and almost prove to him that I am here, that I am who I say I am for him, that I can be trusted, that he can trust me, and that I can trust him. We've had to work to build up a relationship that is full-time mother-son instead of now all of a sudden I have a stepmom who's here all the time. We've had to work at that. And it didn't start with him saying, hey, can we work at this? I want to trust you. That's not how it goes with a child. We all know that. It started with me saying yes, and then it has continued with every day me choosing him. Every day me pursuing him. Me pursuing a relationship that becomes deeper and deeper. And I'm going to be honest, when I do have biological children, when we're blessed in that department, God willing, I hope I never lose that mentality. I hope that as my children are growing and developing, that I still have this same heart to pursue them, to get to know them because they're growing, they're changing, and to pursue trust in a way with them, just as I have with Jackson. I know things will be different, but I hope I never lose that mindset of I truly need to continuously pursue my children. I truly need to continuously pursue my husband, to get to know him more, to get to build up more trust. My relationship with my stepson has shown me that, and I don't think I would have seen it without it. I truly don't. And that obviously ties into how God is always pursuing us, always pursuing our hearts around every corner, even the corners that are dark and that we don't understand and we can't see, and we just want to scream. He's still pursuing those corners to say, hey, you can trust me. I want to pursue this opportunity so you learn to trust who I am. He never expects us just to come in and go, oh, you're God. Sure, I trust you 100%, whatever. He knows us better than that. He created us. Remember, he chose us first. He's always pursuing the relationship. He's always pursuing the heart. And that is something that Jackson has shown me that is irreplaceable. I hope I carry it with me every day of my life, and I hope that I apply it not just, like I said, not just to Jackson, not just to my stepson, but to any future children, to my family, to people I meet in general. I think that's part of looking like Jesus. So those two things have really been cues that I think are slightly different than when you are just biologically the mom. And again, I don't know what it's like to have adopted family members, but I feel like as far as the choosing and the pursuing, I imagine that would be very similar, or that the opportunity would be very similar there. All in all, I could go on for hours about the things that becoming a mom, becoming a stepmom, has shown me and taught me about God. And I could talk about the hours I have spent pursuing God because I don't know what I'm doing as a mom, or I don't know what to do with a stepson, or I don't know what to do with the trauma that came with it and the hurt that came with it, and I don't know what to do with the fact that I can't make it all better. The hours I spent begging God for answers, that alone presented this opportunity to get to know God more, and He revealed Himself to me more, and He's shown up every time. So I could talk about that for hours and hours, but I just wanted to start with God chose us first. We couldn't have a relationship with Him if He hadn't chosen us first. Jackson couldn't have a relationship with me if I hadn't chosen him first. A stepchild of yours, or if you are in the place where you're praying about or considering being in a relationship with someone who has kids, they can't have a relationship with you until you choose it first. Just keep that in mind. And children know when they're being chosen. They know when they're being said yes to and when they're not. God chose us first. Somewhere inside of all of us, we know that He has said yes to us, and we need to respond. It's only other things that keep us from responding. And the other thing is that He pursues us. It's not a one time you say yes and that's that. That's not it. We're not robots. Our kids aren't robots. I couldn't have just said yes to Jackson one time and us have this amazing relationship that we have now. I will make another video about how we built the trust and how we continue to build trust, because I think it's so important to understand that it's different with a stepchild, and it's different with a child who comes from traumatic experience, and it might be different with every child. But pursuing trust is so crucial. I will make a video on that. But I would not have this amazing bond with my stepson that I do, that I will never take for granted. I wouldn't have that if I didn't continuously pursue him and pursue it. And now it's getting to the point where he's pursuing it back. And there's no better feeling in the world for a step-parent than that. Because that doesn't come natural with a stepchild or an adopted child. That comes natural with the biological child. They always want their mom or their dad. But to be a step-parent or to be a figure in this child's world that is not naturally there, to all of a sudden discover it, to pursue them for so long and to pursue them so genuinely and wholeheartedly that one day they begin to pursue you and want you back is the most incredible feeling. And I can only imagine what God feels when after pursuing us and pursuing us and pursuing us, we begin to pursue him back. We begin to want him back. If it is even an ounce of what I feel when Jackson wants me in return, it's unbelievable. And it's all worth it. It's all worth it. So y'all, that's really all I'm going to share. I just wanted to share those quick little things and just encourage you that if you're someone who's considering becoming a step-parent, take these things into consideration. Pray about it. Pray about your decision. And if you're someone that maybe prayer's not been your thing, if you're someone that, you know what, you didn't have parents or you didn't know God, I didn't really know God growing up. If you're someone that you're hearing me talk about God and you're hearing me say that He chose us first and He's pursuing us and you're like, I don't get it. I don't understand what that means. I hope that this will help give a little bit of insight, and I hope if you take anything else away, if this is the only thing I guess you take away, I would say try Him out. Try Him out. Every single morning wake up and go, okay, God, if you're real and if you have said yes to me, please show me. I need you to show me. Say that every single day. Try it out. Do that for a month, see what happens. Do that for a week, see what happens. If you're someone that has questions or you feel like you've just been hurt, reach out. And I know for you other parents, you're thinking, man, you do learn a lot becoming a parent in so many ways. But as far as your relationship with God, like, yeah, it absolutely blows it out of the water. You see things so differently now. You feel things so much deeper and clearly now. You can get what I'm saying. But maybe this will bring in another perspective of pursuit. How often do we pursue our children? And maybe that'll teach them a way that one day they should be pursued and that they should pursue God. That's my hope. So I hope you guys are just in wonderful places, and if you're not, it's okay. I hope you reach out. I hope that if you have stepchildren, that you see them as this beautiful opportunity to get to know them and get to love them, and that it's your choice, no one else's. And I hope if you're a parent that you are just having a blast with your kids. I hope that you are healthy and happy and pursuing happy family. Let me know if you guys have any feedback, any comments. I'm always welcome. I love different feedback. I will make some more videos soon. I took a little break around the holidays to spend time just with Jackson. It was a hard time for him, and I will probably make some videos about that soon. But for now, I hope you guys know that if you're a step parent, you carry so much importance. If you're a parent, you carry so much value. And God loves you. He's chosen you. He's in pursuit of you just as we are with our kiddos. I love you guys. I will talk to you later. Bye, y'all.